Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah is an alien landscape filled with rock amphitheaters, colorful hoodoos, and natural arches. And today we're going to take the popular Scenic Drive to see 15 of the best viewpoints.
This is Magellan.
And this is Greyhound.
Where we make videos about epic road trips, kayaking, hiking, and other outdoor adventures.
This is part of our America's Grandest Canyons road trip series, where we traveled cross-country to explore the Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Glen Canyon, Palo Duro Canyon, and more. Stay tuned for more videos in our evolving trip playlist.
Let's start with some advice from the National Park Service. You should start at the end of this drive first, Yovimpa and Rainbow Points, to avoid the crowds. Then you'll work your way backwards, since all of the other viewpoints will be on the right side of the road. Unfortunately for us, we didn't know that, and we were not spared left lane hell and congestion at the end. But now you do. The first viewpoint is on a short side road before you pass through the entrance into the park. Fairyland Point, appropriately named after the view you get of Fairyland Canyon below, features a younger generation of hoodoos that have suffered less erosion, and is a great place for sunrise. Part of the Grand Staircase, it is the northernmost point of the Ponce Gunt Plateau, and you can see the boat mesa and the sinking ship in the distance. The Fairyland Loop hike, which we also did, begins here. We'll link that above.
The next stop and the first viewpoint after the entrance to the park is Sunrise Point. This one requires a little walking from where you park, but it's worth it. Here you'll get a great view of the Queen's Garden below. This is a great place not only for sunrise, but for sunset as well. The next viewpoint, Sunset Point, has a nice overlook too, but strangely enough is not very good at sunset since the sun doesn't light up the hoodoos very well. To the south, you can see the Silent City, a massive collection of hoodoos rising up like alien skyscrapers.
The next stop is Inspiration Point. Here you'll have multiple spots along a short trail and overlook to take in the expansive views. To your north will be a much better view of the Silent City. Here, beyond the Silent City, you can also see the boat mesa again. Bryce Canyon is a constantly evolving and eroding park, and the cliffs are constantly crumbling. The Park Service warns at this point in particular to remain on the trail or behind the railings. Our next viewpoint is Bryce Point, another spot for gorgeous sunrises. Here you'll enjoy a wide panoramic view of the scenic vistas in the main amphitheater. There's a path you can take to look out below for a different view. This is where you can begin a hike down the Peekaboo Trail as well. We did the Peekaboo Loop hike as part of the Figure 8 combination. We'll link that video above and in the description.
Paria View is a different viewpoint compared to the others. Because most of the hoodoos and cliffs don't face the setting sun in Bryce Canyon, sunrises are usually much better. Paria View, on the other hand, does, making this viewpoint a beautiful sunset destination. Among the hoodoos, there is one distinct one that looks like a castle. Our next overlook, Swamp Canyon, has a smaller view than many of the others, but this also means the landscape feels closer too. In addition to the hoodoos, the Mud and Noon Buttes are off to the right. This is also where you'd start hiking the Swamp Canyon Loop Trail.
The next two viewpoints can be accessed from the same parking lot. When you first arrive, Farview will be the closest to you. At this viewpoint, you will see a great view of the Grand Staircase, with the Aquarius Plateau and its pink cliffs before you. The Kaiparowitz Plateau and its great cliffs beyond, followed by the White Cliffs and even the Kaibab Plateau where the Grand Canyon's north rim lies. On a clear day, which is fairly normal in Bryce, you can see up to 160 miles. The next viewpoint, Piracy Point, is just a short and flat stroll on the other side of the parking lot. Here you will get a slightly different view than Farview since you can see the north part of the park a little better. After we were done, there was a gourmet hot dog truck called Doghouse in the parking lot.
We're not sure if this food truck is a mainstay, but Magellan could not help himself and ordered the Mad Dog because that's one of his nicknames.
But mainly because it was a hot dog with pulled pork, bacon, fried onions, and barbecue sauce. The next viewpoint may be one of our favorites on this drive. The Natural Bridge, a naturally formed arch created out of the red rock. Like the hoodoos, this bridge is at risk from erosion and may not be here one day. In fact, the Park Service notes that they have stopped naming mostly newly formed hoodoos and buttes because ones named decades ago have been destroyed or partially eroded. We were really fortunate to come here in early October, just as the leaves, especially the aspen, were beginning to turn. The next viewpoint, Agua Canyon, has a pretty accurate name. Off to the right, you can barely see a tiny water flow trickling down into the canyon, but at least there's water. More to the north, you can make out two buttes called the Hunter and the Rabbit.
Our next stop is Ponderosa Point, where you'll get a view of Ponderosa Canyon below. The viewpoint is named after the huge Ponderosa pines below, which can be as large as 5 feet in diameter and as high as 150 feet. Like Bryce Canyon Point not actually being a canyon, Black Birch Canyon oddly doesn't have black birches either. It is still a beautiful view and really gives you yet another side to this wonderfully diverse park.
Our last two viewpoints, Rainbow Point and Yovimpa Point, we're gonna refer back to something we said in the beginning. The parking sucks. When we hit this place at the end of the day, we circled for 20 minutes and then came to a standstill because no one could circle anymore. There was also no parking personnel, so no one was guiding anyone. It was just one giant Charlie Foxtrot, and you got a spot if you were lucky. That's it. That all being said, these 2 points were pretty amazing. At 9,115 feet, Rainbow Point is the highest point in Bryce Canyon. For perspective, the visitor center is 1,000 feet lower than where you are standing now. Rainbow Point provides sweeping views of the entire park to your north and is definitely worth it once you find a spot. It is definitely worth coming here for this alone. When you're done with Rainbow Point, you will head along part of the Bristlecone Loop to Yovimpa Point. Here you will get to see the layers of the Grand Staircase. You'll be standing on the pink cliffs, the gray cliffs will be below you, and then the white, vermilion, and chocolate cliffs are beyond, heading into the Kaibab Plateau of the Grand Canyon.
There was a ranger there we got to speak to who explained this with visual aids too. Guys, most rangers we've met love these parks and will answer your questions with enthusiasm. If you see them standing around, it's not for show. They want to talk to you.
Sorry to the rangers who don't want to talk to us.
This scenic drive is perfect if you only have a few hours in Bryce or, like us, are recovering from some all-day hikes. We definitely recommend it. Stay tuned for our next video on our road trip series where we give you the top things to do in Bryce. We'll see you on the trails or in the water.